It's 11:30 p.m. and it's the day before my physics end of chapter exam. Now I have two options. Either I can go to sleep right now and wake up with about 8 hours of sleep, or I could sacrifice my sleep and then study 4 hours before my actual exam. Now this is a chapter I've pretty much already revised for. This was on electromagnetism, I think. So this isn't like too much of a hard topic. I did like some practice questions, but I thought that if I studied for 4 hours before the exam, that would guarantee me the top grade, surely. So that's what I did. I went to sleep at 12 a.m. and I got up at 4:30 a.m. and I sat down with 2 cups of coffee and I was really, really groggy and I did some practice questions. Flash forward, after I got the results for that test, I was surprised, I was shocked when I got 45% in my physics exam. Literally, people who didn't even revise gapped me in the test. Now, flash forward 2 years in the future, now I'm in year 12, I also study A-level physics, and I had an end of chapter waves test around like a week and a half ago. And I met with the same dilemma. Either I could wake up really, really early on the day and then revise, or I could get a good night's sleep. This time I chose differently. This time I chose to go to bed early and get up with 8 hours of sleep. This time I get an A star in this exam. Now before you assume anything or like click off this video, I want to tell you about a research that happened a couple of years ago. A group of scientists came together and they took 2 groups of students studying at a university. They took the first group, they tested their academic capability, and it matched with the second group. So everyone, in both groups, everyone had like the same academic capability. No one was like a super genius. So what they did was they took both groups and brought them together, and then they taught them like a chapter they hadn't learned before for 30 minutes. Now after this, the first group went to sleep for 8 hours. They timed this in like perfect conditions. They went to sleep for 8 hours after learning for 30 minutes. Now the second group got 8 hours of revision more. They didn't sleep at all, and they got 8 more hours of revision than the first group. After all of this, the next day, they were tested on this same topic. Group 1 gapped everyone in group 2. I'm not even joking. Like the difference between the average grade in group 1 was that between a pass and a fail. Literally getting 8 more hours of revision failed pretty much everyone in group 2. This shocked a lot of people because the common trope at this time is that students, like if you ask a student, oh yeah, how many hours of revision do you get? They would say like 4 hours, and I sacrificed 4 hours of my sleep. I slept for 4 hours and I like studied for 4 hours, and it's this kind of like meme where people sacrifice sleep to study more or work more. I know in this like entrepreneurship like space, everyone sacrifices sleep to grind, but you have to understand that your sleep is one of the best investments of your time that you can ever put in like to anything. Getting 8 hours of sleep is proven to boost memory, focus, cognition, like grades, like overall grades. You lose more fat if you get more sleep. You build more muscle if you get more sleep. You're less likely to have a lower willpower. You get a higher amount of discipline if you just sleep more. And this is what I want to drill into you with this video. I know that exams are coming up for me and probably you as well. Everyone wants to sacrifice sleep. Everyone wants to get that like 6 hours of sleep to revise 10 hours a day. But I'm telling you that if you just like invest in your sleep, you will perform way better in all areas of life. And I understand like what you're thinking when you're watching this video. You're probably thinking that I've already got 6 hours of sleep a day beforehand, so I may as well just do that and study more. But I'm telling you that when you get under 8 hours, when you get under 8 to 9 hours of sleep every single day, even 7, to a point, even 7 hours and 30 minutes, even half an hour difference will make you a shell of your potential self. You can perform way better in all areas of life. You can literally focus way more if you just sleep for longer. I'm not joking. This is like an epiphany that came to me 2 weeks ago because I started reading this book called Why We Sleep by this dude named Matthew Walker. And in that, the TLDR of this entire book is just like sleep equals good and getting more sleep is more good. So I just started like sleeping more. That like as an A-level student with like so many things, you would expect me to work for like 12 hours a day, but no, I literally spent 9 hours a day just in bed. And I'm not joking when I say that these are the best grades I've ever gotten, ever, like in my academic record. I'm looking at my exams right now and I'm shocked at how high they are, like how high the grades are. I'm building the most muscle I've ever built in my life. I started off like bench pressing, like incline bench pressing. If you're into bodybuilding, you probably know this. I started off incline bench pressing 12 kg on each hand. Now I'm doing 36s for reps, like easily doing 36s. I'm incline curling 22 kg on like each hand. I'm doing 22 kg in the gym. This is literally the strongest I've ever looked. I'm getting leaner as well. I just started cutting like a week ago, so I'm getting leaner fast now. And all of this I attribute pretty much exclusively just for that 1 more hour of sleep I'm getting into my schedule. Now, hopefully you're convinced that sleep is something you need to invest your time into. Also, before I go on to like how you can improve your sleep, everything that can go bad in your life goes bad with a lack of sleep. This means reduced testosterone, you reduce focus, reduce attention span, you gain more fat, lose muscle if you just sleep less. You get higher risk of like weird diseases like heart disease, Alzheimer's, which you just don't want to do. Long term, also sleep is just like getting a lack of sleep. Getting anything under 8 hours of sleep is just not optimal for your long-term self as well. So hopefully now I can drill into you that getting more than 8 hours of sleep, especially if you're a teenager like me. I'm 17 and I used to think that getting 5 to 6 hours of sleep is optimal for me. I'm gonna grind, I'm gonna get the highest exam grades if I just get 5 to 6 hours of sleep, but this is like complete BS. If anything, getting a higher amount of sleep as a student will get you better grades. This is at least what I've seen in my life, and hopefully you can implement this into your schedule as well. So now I'm gonna go into exactly how you can implement more sleep into your life. Before I go into this, also read the book Why We Sleep by Matthew Walker. This is just like a summary of that guide. If you can just dedicate some time, at least read a summary, I'll link it down below, of that one book, I guarantee that your life will change. You've probably not vitalized, you've probably not like ingrained the importance of sleep as much as you should have. Everyone around you is probably sleep deprived as well. So now if you just ingrain this notion that just getting a good quality sleep is better for you, you're gonna perform way better in every area of life. So now, tip number 1 to improve your sleep is to build something called a routine. You've probably heard what a routine is. It's basically where you plan out your day. I have a video on exactly how I plan out my days. It's a Notion like template, which you can download for free. And how I do it is I try to go to sleep around the same time every day, and I try to wake up around the same time every day. Now, of course, when you hear this, you probably get thinking like, oh yeah, I have so many other things in my like life. I can't go to sleep every single day and wake up every single day. But that's not the point. The point is just scheduling it. So you're 40% more likely to sleep on this time than you are normally. Of course, everyone has random things that happen to them. Maybe my like family go out, so this like messes up my sleeping schedule. But around 8:30 to 9 is when I go to sleep every single day. I try to make that ingrained into my schedule, and hopefully you can take something from this as well. Just go to sleep every single day at around the same time and wake up every single day at around the same time. Also, this is like unrelated to this, but I have a Google meeting that I run every single day, or I try to run every single day, called the 5 a.m. club. This is basically when I wake up at like 5:30 and then a group of like students come together. We do like a live study with me, but it's every single day. So everyone's just studying, like grinding on their work tasks, whatever level. Like we have university people, we have like year 8s, I think, who come and then work for like 3 hours, and then everyone just works for about 3 hours and then becomes more productive. If you're interested in that sort of club, click in the link below and just join that. The second tip to improve your sleep is to exercise daily. A lot of people overlook this. A lot of people do not exercise every single day, and this is unacceptable. Like honestly, you have to dedicate at least 30 to 60 minutes every single day to some sort of physical activity. I know this personally because when I was a kid, I used to get like recommendations from like the NHS. I think they stopped giving out posts, but they used to say, oh yeah, you have to exercise every single day from 60 minutes to 120 minutes. But now I think this like notion's gone down. Everyone just doesn't exercise anymore. Even in like my game session in like 6th form, no one actually exercised. Everyone's just like on their computer revising or something. But you have to exercise every single day for at least 60 minutes. I go to the gym every single day for about 2 hours. And if you have a gym near you, go join that. Or it could be as simple as just doing push-ups on the floor. Anything that requires like physical intensity, you need to do. This will improve your life and also improve your mental health, which will also like improve your grades if that's what you're focused on. So exercise every single day, and that will improve your sleep quality as well. Tip number 3 is to avoid overstimulation before bed. What do I mean by this? Overstimulation is basically when you fry something called your dopamine receptors in your head. This is when you like binge watch TV or like scroll on social media just before bed. This just like awakens your brain. You don't want that to happen. You want your brain to calm down and go into that state of sleep. And like scrolling on your phone or something is completely the opposite of what we want to happen. So what I recommend you to do is just get a book instead of like scrolling. Go read any book you want. It could be fiction, non-fiction. I try to read like self-improvement books, but you can read whatever you want just before bed. And I feel like this just calms your brain down, and it just makes it way easier to just sleep compared to just like binge watching TV, or like people play TV in the background. I just don't like that because it just overstimulates yourself. If you watch TV, that just awakens your mind. You're attentively giving your attention to that screen, which is what you don't want to happen. Number 4 is an optional tip. Buy something called blue light filtering glasses. Now these are glasses you've probably seen me wear in one of my videos. It was like a day in the life video. I think I'll link it up here somewhere. But these are like orange sort of glasses that block out the blue light that comes from screens. If you buy one of these, you can use your phone before you go to bed. This won't affect your sleep quality, but don't get overstimulated. Also, like, don't play video games before bed. This also counts as overstimulation. I know a lot of people who play like 3 hours of Valorant before they go to bed, but this inadvertently affects their sleep, which inadvertently affects every single other part of their life. Like grades, they could get way better grades if you just stop playing Valorant before you go to bed. Play it any other time, just not before you go to sleep, just because this really affects your sleep quality. That's all from me. If you like this video, go hit the like button and like subscribe as well. Go read the book Why We Sleep by Matthew Walker. I'll see you in the next one.